I'm looking at that what's it called? What you call it on GameFound? The Song of Ice and Fire
Oh, right.
on GameFound, and on GameFound you can do like a payment plan. It's like 4 monthly payments or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, this
Yeah, I
is
just got a notice, Tom, that it's live.
Doing it live.
We're doing it live. Did you get new memes, Tom?
Nope. It's the same ones because I forget that I have to do it. So there's this thing about
hmm
ADHD. There's this thing about ADHD where it's like you're living a cursed life because, um, first of all, just yes. But secondly, because what'll happen is you'll have a daily recurrence of bumping into something, thinking, oh, I need to adjust that, or I need to fix that, I need to do X, Y, and Z. I'll do that later, but I will do it. And then you walk through a door, and then that thought is gone. And then you do that exact same thing the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So in my brain, it's like, oh yeah, I'll update the meme folder for whenever I'm running the show. And the second I walk through any of these doors, I will forget. If I don't forget before then.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, yeah. I'm now
Let's
I'm
see.
now crystallizing all of the things that my brain is like dredging out from dead memories of like,
hmm
oh, there is that doorknob you forgot to tighten, or there's that other thing you forgot to do. Oh, there's that other thing you forgot to do. Oh my god.
Isn't that called your wife?
I
So you
said,
get a double dose then.
see, sir, that's not a doorknob. That's my wife.
No, I mean
Anywho.
the constant reminders.
Oh yeah, no, 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 no. She's nicer to me than that most of the time.
Did she listen to the show?
Nope. Noopity nope nope nope.
All right. Minitorum. Balance data slate.
Do I need to count us in?
Uh, sure. I think the only one person watching right now is me, so we should be fine.
Sounds about right.
It's about right.
And then uh, we're recording, right? Because I'm not doing that. Just making sure you
We're
are.
re- no, I do that. Yeah,
Yes. All right. Well, then
we're
three, two,
recording on my end.
and one.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of TFG Radio. A week later than normal. So, to this week, we have Danny with us.
Hey, 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 hey.
And this week on the Wheels of Steel, we have Tom,
Hello.
who does not wish to speak. And
I spoke.
no John for now.
Oh,
Huh?
I said I did speak.
No John for now. He did speak. But he may show up. It still counts as an occurrence. So currently, if anyone's keeping tab, Tom is actually ahead of John in the show appearances. So enjoy it while you can.
Tom's batting 1,000 this year. Look at that.
I'm trying to go
I
for
know.
that
Look
that
at
end of year
that.
bonus. I, Adam put in the new TFG incentive
Yes.
plan. I'm trying to get that company shirt and that free PTO day.
We have a company shirt.
Yeah, I'm the only one who wears them.
That is true. Well, no, John wears them once in a while. I don't wear them, which is hilarious. Um, so it's been a while since we had our last show. We did have a few things happened after LVO. We did get a bunch of updates from Games Workshop. Um, most places have already talked about it, so we'll go through it fairly quickly. at least from our end, from our judges, and one of the big surprises, at least to me, is actually we're going over the rules commentary, is actually like the very first thing in the rules commentary, which is abilities with the same name. For reference, in previous editions, GW never allowed any abilities or buffs or debuffs that had the same name they were not allowed to stack. So we had stratagems and psychic powers, a bunch of other things that had the same name, even though they were in different codexes, and they were not allowed to stack. However, in this edition, currently anyway, they are allowing the buffs and debuffs and abilities to stack as long as it's not an aura, which I find odd, but okay. I found that surprising. I don't know what your thoughts, Danny. Danny, can you hear me? Danny's gone.
Danny hated it so much, he left. Said, "Screw this, I'm out of here." That didn't stop the recording link, right?
No. No, it just makes it harder for me to piece it together when I have to put it together.
So
And if I'm lazy, I'll just pull it from YouTube. Just do it that way.
For those of you who have been listening thus far or are new, as you can tell, we're on a tight ship.
Well, Danny's internet's not very good apparently, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the ability to stack abilities seems really strong for a lot of armies, especially things like chaos demons, especially. I don't know if it makes them any better because they're still chaos demons, but I don't know for Tom, for any of your armies, how does that work?
So just to clarify,
have you looked at that yet for either?
The way it works is it's for any stacking abilities, you can stack it as long as it's not an aura.
Correct.
I'd have to check Grey Knights and Knights and Space Marines. I'd have to check a lot of my armies personally, but I'm thinking primarily of Tau.
Yeah, I forgot you have every army.
For Tau,
but Tau and Votan's what you played lately.
Yeah, I think for Tau, I don't know off the gate. I think there might be some stratagems that allow for that kind of stacking in a way where it didn't before, but I can't be too certain. As far as aura abilities or abilities that kind of double down on things, the Tau Codex, Index currently is very good at kind of delineating auras and certain things and what certain leaders can do. So I can't think of anything that does things like that, but I mean, because everything for Tau so far is pretty clean and straightforward. There's not a whole lot of intermax, mishmash play, etc.
Yeah, we'll have to see how good. I haven't heard too many things. I did hear about like bloodletters that do 5 damage, things like that.
As they should.
A couple other things, but why not? But nothing too like. I think that was the most extreme thing people have been talking about, but I don't think anything's really come out that I know of yet. But I think I'll see more of it at Cherokee next week. So that was one of the things that struck out to me the most. I'll give a couple examples. Other changes they made were clarifications about adding models. And they allowed you to add models to a unit even if they're not on the battlefield. So that one's pretty good for a lot of, especially if you have abilities, especially for Space Marine, apothecaries, things like that. So another big one was units arriving from strategic reserve. um, count as still count as moving, but don't count as moving, or count as making a normal move, but don't count as making a normal move. If that makes sense.
I'm gonna go with a big old no, dog. That does not make sense.
Yeah. So what they clarified was that even though they say they count as making a normal move, some abilities that trigger off of making a normal move don't trigger because it's not a normal move. It's simply a normal move in relation to any other things that may, like if you normally like if you get a special ability or a -1 to hit, let's say because you moved or made a normal move, that would take effect because you count as taking a more normal move. But for other abilities, and especially for things like Overwatch, I believe it does not count. Oh, no, you can still Overwatch them.
Overwatch allows you to get
But
people
for
out of
some, there's some abilities, right? Because they're set up, and you can Overwatch models that are set up. Um, it's just a clarification on what a unit that moves as if they made a normal move actually means.
Okay.
So they talk about battle shock basically, and when clarifications on when you take the test and how many tests you take if you have to take multiple battle shocks, which is one. They try to clarify the charging bonus. Oh, here it is. Counts as having a normal move. Counts as a normal move. They're set up on the. This is simply to clarify that they cannot move further in the phase. That's basically what it is. But have not remained stationary. So they're like with the guard. Like the guard has an ability that if they remain stationary, they get a bonus to their. I believe it's lethal hits. Is it lethal hits? I can't remember. So if they come in from reserve like Casterkin, then they count as making a normal move in that regard,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't move any further normally.
Got it.
They clarify CPs. They did finally clarify the damage characteristic of when you add the +1 and have and go to 0, and the difference between a modifier and a non-modifier. So like if like for a last cannon that's D6 +1, the +1 is part of that damage characteristic, so you don't add that +1 at the end. So if you have an ability that lets you zero out the damage characteristics, you don't zero out the D6 and then add the +1 because the +1 is not a modifier, even though it kind of is. And then, but the Melta rule is a modifier because it's separate from the damage characteristic of a weapon. So it just clarifies that further because there were still people asking about that rule in relations to like half damage and reducing to 0 damage. A few other stuff. Embarked Union reserves. Something about enhancements. Fight on death. They. I know you like this one, Tom. When we talked about it, was the one about hazardous, and then clarifying how hazardous weapons work with a character.
Yeah, that.
So now you get to save your character, Tom.
Yeah, that makes it. I appreciate that for my crisis bombs. Thank you.
Yeah, well. Let's see what I'm just going through it really quick. Most people have looked at it and kind of commented on it already.
Yeah.
But those were the ones you cannot use one-shot weapons on fire decks anymore, which allowed people to sometimes, depending on what the event rules, people would go into a vehicle, use the fire deck to fire the one-shot weapon, then get out, and it's still technically they would argue that you still had that one-shot weapon because the vehicle shot it, not the unit. If that makes sense.
That's some jank right there. Anyone who's trying to argue that is just, come on.
Well, they clarified it that you can't even do it at all. So if you're inside a vehicle. Welcome back, Danny.
Sorry, my net is really, really horrific today.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. Clarify a few other things. Nothing really too. They did clarify the ignoring modifiers a bit, which is how we kind of described it in our FAQ. if you look on the FLG FAQ, you can see a lot of the rules removed that were answered in the commentary and in the balanced data slate, so you don't have to worry about it.
Cool.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I can't do much. It was
What's
just
hilarious is he
what,
told Tom he can get the stream started, and then me and you, Danny, can just handle the rest.
and
But
that was clearly
Tom
a
may have to
lie.
do more. Tom may have to do more heavy lifting. So hopefully John will show up. But it's fine. So yeah, so and then core ignoring modifiers. Then they did some core rules errata, which they updated the command reroll.
Yeah, it's more powerful now, right?
And it looks like they just clarified. Huh?
Isn't it allows you to do more?
What was that, Tom? Yeah, they kind of listed what you can use it on. And for some reason, they changed the target to that unit from your army. Okay. And then they changed rapid ingress, but I don't see anybody use it very often, so I don't know how big of a change it is. I think they just clarified it.
Mm.
And a clarification for objective markers. Yeah, Kara Quinn, it's for those of you that remember the GW World Championship FAQ, I still see people like reference it once in a while, and my suggestion is to stop referencing that because there's a few different rulings between the two documents. I remember there were a couple of them, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I knew there's at least two questions that were answered in the World Championship FAQ that is different from the current data slate and core rulebook info. So you may not you don't want to be easily confused. Balanced data, and speaking of balanced data slate, they did something interesting in the balanced data slate. It's small, but it's really, I feel, very impactful because for those of us that have been paying attention or playing the game for a while, especially in competitive play, whenever GW makes any updates or changes, you don't know where they made those changes because they weren't very good at highlighting those changes. But with this edition, they seem to be, especially if you look at the balanced data slate, you can see a little plus sign next to stuff that they changed in this particular balanced data slate.
Yes.
So if you look under, let's say, under the faction rules, because they didn't change anything in the core rules. Everything there, I believe, is the same from the last balanced data slate. But in the faction rules, there's Adeptus Sororitas got a change for the Triumph of St. Catherine. Custos got a couple changes. Eldar got
Custodes needed that change.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, Custodes needed that change. They need to have their feel no pain against dev wounds.
Oh yeah. Aldari got a bunch. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different changes, not including the point changes. Strands of Fate was reduced to only 6d6 instead of 100d6 for Fate dice. That's still a lot, but it's not a hell of a lot, I guess. They changed the Phantasm one, which is probably the biggest thing, so that it only affects infantry, and you can only move d6. That's probably the biggest thing for Eldar. There's a change to the Night Spinners, but people still take Night Spinners. Same with the Yinkarn. Wraithguard got a change in terms of who they can target with their shooting when they're shooting back. What other changes? Astra Militarum got a change, and this one's a big change for Astra Militarum. because I've already gotten like at least 2 or 3 questions about it. And basically, they're allowed to issue orders when they come in from deep strike, as well as, um, especially if they disembarked from a transport that was set up or were set up from the battlefield. So you can issue orders in the command phase, and if you're a commander that has the ability, happen to be in deep strike at the time, or in a vehicle that was in deep strike and they come in, or in reserves and they come in, then they can issue the order as soon as they get out. Um, so I've had a few questions about it. Combine that with the ability to stack abilities, which I keep on saying for some reason. Um, it makes Astra Militarum uh, much better, especially in this new meta that we're seeing with the last couple weeks of tournaments. Blood Angels gotta change. Demons
We got
they
a little buff.
changed.
Demons is a big
Danny,
deal. It actually changes one of my lists.
Danny, while you're still on, why don't you talk about how it changed your for the demon pack rule for Chaos Demons, and you may as well talk about Chaos Space Marines. It doesn't really affect
Well,
me, but quick, Danny,
well, I
quick.
mean, it's quick. I know before the net dies again. With the demons, so now if you take for it, basically anything flat have a number of battle line units with that keyword. So if you want 2 bloodthirsters, you have to take 2 units of bloodletters, right? Like if you want, you know, 3 soul grinders, of all each, you better be taking, 30 pinks. So it really, really cuts down on like the Bellacore, Bellacore's big booty boys, where you're just basically stacking big monsters to hide around his aura so they don't get shot. It's
Right.
can't really do that as much anymore. You have to kind of spread the love. You have to be taking basic infantry essentially. So if you play mono like I usually do, which is I play almost always mono corn, it's not that big of a deal. Um, Except even then, it still limits because if I want to take, I'm thinking of one of my lists that's like Bellacore, Scarbrand, Thirster, dogs, Soul Grinders. It's so I only have 2 units of bloodletters, which means I have to actually cut a bunch of stuff to add more bloodletters in because I need more
Right.
battle line units to be able to, the one for one thing really kind of sucks, to say the least. So it actually, what's it's yeah, it's just it's a big change. It's going to make I think it makes demons a lot weaker because the infantry isn't the greatest thing in the world. So depending which god you play, so it's a little bit less sad.
I haven't played demons in forever, so but the Chaos Space Marines is what affects me. Nah, well, the list I was running, aren't affected too much. One of the big changes is that the vehicle mark has to be the same as the mark of whatever units are going to go in that vehicle. A lot of times you would see a Nurgle marked Rhino with a not Nurgle marked whatever else. Uh, so they didn't like that, so they changed that. They also changed the probably the best stratagem that Chaos Space Marines has right now, which is the Dark Obscuration, because it's a big word, and English is my first language. The Dark Obscuration stratagem, which is basically what everyone calls the Nurgle strat, where you can't target them what used to be outside of 12 inches.
I hate that
It's
thing.
now 18 inches,
Good.
which is, I guess, worse. But it's, I don't know. It wouldn't affect me because usually for me, it really only mattered for that first turn. I think when we play Tom, usually your ghost kills are in range, but your ghost kills aren't going to kill a
Yeah.
land raider.
Ghost keels aren't there to shoot stuff. They're there to
Right.
pepper stuff and get in the way of charges and act as like frontline objective grabbers with some resilience. Um, I mean, honestly, the key of that stratagem, like you said, is to keep stuff alive first turn. And as long as that stratagem has the ability to do that at an economic price point, then it's all good.
Yeah. And then they changed Profane Zeal. which now only affects Chaos Undivided, and it's only re-roll the wound roll. And then Accursed Cultists, their objective control is changed to 1 instead of 2, which was what it was before. They're also affected by the Chaos Demons Pact rule in terms of allies. So if you're a player that brought a lot of Chaos Demon allies in your Chaos Space Marine army, then it's probably there's a bit more of a tax if you want to bring certain units. If you brought especially non-troop units. So Death Guard, they changed the Biologist ability. Death Watch didn't change anything. Drukhari they actually gave Drukhari a whole new index essentially with a new detachment. I don't know how good it is because I haven't been hearing much about Drukhari in tournaments, but it's something, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, better than nothing, right?
Yeah, I think they're a little bit stronger now, and it's just that they're still not. They're performing better, but I think they're performing a lot better, but I don't know. I haven't seen them locally, so.
Yeah.
Tommy, do you want to talk about the Nemesis Dread Knight? What did they change?
What did they change? That is a good question.
Oh, they made the heavy side cannon ignore cover.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, if they did that, then that's better. I mean, for me, I don't know. I haven't looked at Grey Knights in a minute, but one of the things I remember about them that may have been adjusted in the last couple months since I seriously took a look at them was they're an army that wants to be good at shooting and wants to be good at melee, and they're almost really good at both, but they're not. Right, and I think so I think anything that enhances or pushes that needle one way or another will make them better. But I mean, to be honest, a lot of my focus has been on Tau in this edition because why not go full circle? So I don't know. Grey Knights is that black box of do I want to get stuck in this dream of maybe being good enough to run them again? We'll see.
Right. Danny, do you want to talk about?
I mean, they got a little nerfed. I was also I with the Chaos Demons thing, I was realizing it's just on Demonic Pact, which is allies, which is fine. But again, it means you can't just take Scarbrand and dogs or something. You need to take you have to actually take the basic troops.
Yeah, I spoke about that a little bit when I was talking about Space Marines. Yeah, you have to. Now there's a larger tax. Depending on what you want.
That's only for the allies. So you can still do your Bellacore list just fine, which is cool. That's good. But yeah, World Eaters got a little nerf.
But your World Eaters
they're not dead. They got a little bit of a nerf. So Berserker Glaive got toned down. It's just a +1 attack damage to their melee weapons, which isn't awesome. Favorite of Corn, which lets you fish for what you want. It becomes once per battle, so not super useful. Plus side, the World Eater's Demon Prince, the walking one that hands out the 5+ symbol, it can boost. It boosts things to it can boost things to a 4+, which is nice. Especially if you get things that only have a little invul save. Really it's for you. There's ways to get the Exalted, right? You can get the Exalted 8 bound up to a 4+ again, and then they have their feel 5+ feel no pain if you have that Blood Tithe active. So it's Carlos Kaiser did really well at LVO with using the walking Demon Prince and the Cultist.
3 things that GW just nerfed.
Yeah. He used the Cultists more than anything, and then with a 5+ is pretty annoying. With the 5++. So
yes.
So I don't think I think world eaters get toned down. I don't think they're dead, but I honestly, it becomes the idea of like, I don't know if you necessarily, it's like almost sacrilege to say, I don't know if you need Angron anymore. Because
Well,
if you
really.
can't reliably
Seriously.
res him, like that's more stuff to throw in there, right? It's just more things
Yeah.
more room to do. Although I do love Angron because he is still a great thing.
Oh.
So,
When I heard that noise, I thought you dropped again.
I
Danny.
thought so too. Well, I just got the connection is unstable. So maybe.
Well, we just got fourth member who is also unstable.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, yeah.
No. Again, we say that, but John, it's a sad state of affairs that John is the sensible one among all of us.
True.
That just shows you the depth of this, the depth of our
I don't
depravity.
understand why that's sad.
It's like
So
that
John
Always
is on
Sunny
just in
meme
time.
where it's like, what do you mean? You're 3 adult grown men and you don't have $200 between you?
Accurate.
Oh boy. Yeah.
There's a couple of things. Space Wolves get to do their deeds worthy of a saga on each player turn. I don't know if that makes them any better. And then, John, what do Imperial Knights get
For what?
for their update?
They continue to get fat L's.
All right, there you go.
I mean, they get they clarify they get the true. You get to reroll 1 hit roll and 1 win roll when they shoot or fight. So
Sure.
it's
Oh,
yeah, like
lay low the time.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I think we're probably one of the few.
Do I get to Overwatch again yet? No. Oh, okay.
Nope.
I think we're one of the few podcasts where one of the hosts just actively joins with "Don't at me" energy to the co-hosts. It's like, why are you bothering me? I don't want to be bothered at work. This is a
This is
podcast.
part of my this is part of my charm.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Does
Oh my god.
does anybody want to talk about the points updates for their
Go.
armies?
My Riptides got even cheaper
No, I like that.
for some reason.
Well, they weren't that great, right? I mean, they're fine.
They're okay, but like now they're like 165. They're like cheaper than Ghost Keels, and they do put out a good amount of DACA. It's just like, But they, of course, offset it.
Ghost kills are better though.
Oh well, for objective holding for sure. They're not, but Ghost Keels are actually worse at shooting. Like no question.
Well, no, yeah, but ghost kills are just hard to kill.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just like your front
Yeah.
line of like have fun being annoyed by this for 2 turns.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason why I like Riptides as a secondary piece is because it's another layer of this is annoying. So if
Yeah.
I mean, from that perspective, you could run 3 Ghost Keels, 3 Riptides, have it essentially be in the face of the enemy army, especially if they're a shooting army, and just have them deal while the rest of your army is doing stuff. Like, I don't know what the new crew's gonna look like, but if they're all about like mobility and board control, then hell yeah, brother. Riptides, Ghost Keels, and Crew Tides. Like, I'm all for it.
Maybe. We'll just have to see what the crew do.
What that crew do?
Gross.
Yeah, it's basically they just increase the points of all the units that everybody uses for their armies.
Yeah. But they decreased some too, right?
It depends.
Didn't they
There's a
decrease
few-
like Trajan? And then they decreased.
Custodes got a lot of points
Yeah.
drops. Chaos Demons actually got a lot of points drops, except for Nurglings and Blue Scribes, what everyone would ally in.
Marines,
Yeah,
Knights
'cause-
Marines got drops too.
Knights and Chaos Knights did drop except for some things. Like
Yeah,
Chaos
except for the
Knights, the
Brigand. Yeah.
Brigands went up.
Yeah.
And then there were some things that didn't change. I maintain that the fact that the Valiant is still anywhere near the amount of points it is proves that GW does not know anything about Knights and how they work or how good they are or anything. Like
They probably
you
still
would-
Overwatch with Valiants, that's why. when they're testing.
As soon as you took that away, and you kept them at their current points, why nobody's going to play it? If you're going to take a Tyrant, which you're dumb if you do, you're going to take the Castellan. Because there's literally no reason to take the one with the harpoon and the flamethrower. That's just not. So, anyways, yeah, I think Custode's got the best end of the stick in terms of points and like changes. I think that they went from like, oh man, why are you doing that? Why are you playing that army? To okay, that's fine. You can win some games.
Yeah, I think as everyone's already pointed out, I think Necron's made out on this one.
By not being touched.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll get bad touched real hard in the next one.
Yeah, I think in the Meta Watch they mentioned how they're not going to touch them because they're still a relatively new book. So I guess.
Yeah. So what 5 months from now is when they get another one? 6?
Yeah.
What are we doing now? Every year?
At Mechanicus wasn't touched either. They're winners, right?
Is that a real faction still?
I think the only viable build right now is when you spam the walkers.
The big dudes with the chicken legs and the go-go gadgets?
Yeah, where it costs like $1,000 to max out on them or whatever.
I'm sure that's by accident. I'm sure.
I did notice something cool though for my white scars that makes me actually like, oh, I should probably find more bikes because they changed the Outrider squad. No, they changed the Outrider squads to you can make them 6 now. They're not stuck at 8 or they're not stuck at 3.
3.
So now you can take 18 of them, and they're only they're only what is that? Like 27, 28 points for one. Like they've actually got a decent profile. So I could see 18 bikes, white scars, and then with what is it? The assault intercessors are dirt cheap now.
Yeah, dude, they're 75
assault
points.
intercessors.
Insane.
Yeah.
You mean with the jump pack or without?
Without, yeah.
Without, they're like it's 150 for 10.
Yeah, that's really cheap.
But
I mean,
the is only 20 points more.
Yeah,
170.
I mean, the Flamer Bros are cheap too now.
Mhm.
Like they're actually
What do they call? Oh,
Inferno squads. Like they got
160.
Yeah, they got
160 for
pretty
10.
cheap.
Pop them in a drop pod. Bam.
Yeah, I mean they will. There's just a lot of flame shots. I mean, it's just a lot.
Okay, stop giving me ideas to build a Space Marine army.
Yeah,
Do you even own Space Marines, Adam?
of course he does.
They're all baby Marines. I do have the drop pods though.
So the
And
answer
I
is
do
no.
He knows
I
me.
do have
Because
the
what you
Infernus
you
squad.
own is stuff that is not playable other than drop pods.
I do have an Infernus squad. I'll just have to take all of that.
And Inferno Squad.
Yeah, I just went.
Okay.
How much are the Outriders? I'm trying to look. They
There's-
bumped up the Inceptors.
They're 80 for 3, so 160 for 6. Plus, you can throw in an ATV if you want.
I mean,
ATV.
that's a pretty damn good deal for a dealership. I mean, I'm just saying it's one of the best deals you're gonna find out there.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta look them up. Now I gotta look up their Dataslate because I forgot.
Look,
Oh, the ATVs. You
Call
can't
just
heal.
No,
them.
not the
one
ATVs.
Outrider
Not the
bike today.
ATVs.
Okay, what can we do to make this happen?
Nothing makes you
Nope.
feel more like a man than driving a Thunder Cougar Falconbird.
Oh man, what the fuck are the Outrider squad?
Look, if I wanted to have a bunch of Warthogs, I'd just play Halo.
Yeah, and Outrider
That's
is
coming out when Mantic puts out their game.
Yeah. See, there you go.
There's your
Someday,
Warthog squad.
someday.
They just did their version of Epic Kickstarter for their game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, an Outrider is, movement 12, T5, 3+ save, 4 wounds, OC2.
2.
And has
That seems low.
it is, but I mean, you're kind of flooding the middle and taking objectives where they're probably not putting anything too big.
Did
but,
they have more wounds last edition?
No, they had 4. They had 3 or 4. Like, so 4 wounds for just a standard bike dude is pretty beefy. And then, they have a lot of attacks in combat. It's not great, but like they have a lot of attacks. So they're good
I
at.
think they're just there to annoy.
Yeah, I mean, they're there for, again, for like white scars, because they auto advance 6 and then charge, they move 18, charge into the something in the center of the board and basically camp an objective and just be really annoying to get rid of. Right? Like you can, depending on how your opponent deploys, you can essentially pin them in their deployment zone if you go first.
Right.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I mean, it could be a fun skew list depending what you're going against. And just for those things have big bases too, so you can actually occupy a lot of the board with them.
Yeah, and I
So,
remember.
I don't know.
I remember too.
I need another 9, I guess.
I was I was looking at them. I was looking at them in conjunction with you pair them up with a chaplain on a bike, and then that's when they actually start to really hit. Because there's a relic I think that a chaplain on a bike can take that ups the melee output of the people he's leading, and it's just nasty. I remember looking into that, but the problem was I was like, I either didn't have enough bikes or I didn't have enough points to back it up with shooting, because that's the thing, right? Like depending on how you're playing them, it's just you need to, you can't just have the screen, because the second the screen's gone, well, what's your backup plan here? So.
They didn't touch the Thousand Suns.
Did they need to be touched?
I don't think so. I think
Did they need either the good touch or bad touch?
No, I haven't played them in 10th, so I guess they're okay. I mean, they haven't really been winning events or even getting top spots in events. I think they won one event in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
But that's the point. John, you missed out on the discussion about the Dataslate.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're excited. You missed that.
Missed out?
Yeah, I'm sure you're sad you missed out on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll shed a silent tear over here on my own.
Yeah. GW also announced that finally announced their schedule for their U.S. Open series.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 3 events before the World Championship.
Wasn't there only 4 last year too? There was 3 and then the World Championship. I think they only do 4.
I guess they settled because didn't they do more like the first and second year?
No, but they help run Nova, and they
another one.
And they help at.
It was just Nova.
The events team also, but see, the events team does other stuff. Like the events team does Gen Con and stuff, and like they do the laser tag thing, and like. So it's not just for them. It's not just the tournaments. Yeah.
There's no World Championship of Warhammer in laser tag.
Yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. But if you believe in yourself and try hard, Adam, maybe one day you can be a world champion in Warhammer 40K at a laser tag.
There was a time where my brother, for those that don't know, my brother John, and I were heavily into airsoft, and we had a small team, not like a real team, but we did try to help one of our friends, his son, get on an airsoft team. So we went to the tryouts with them, and it was horrible because they were a bunch of wannabe military people. Yes. I mean, admittedly, they were fit, but they made us do this stupid training as if we were actual like trying out for some military squad or whatever.
Nice.
We ended up not, or well, I guess we kind of applied too technically, but none of us, not even the kid, got chosen. We think because they wanted people that didn't know anything in regards to tactics and things of that nature. Battlefield tactics, because
sounds
it's easier
like
for them
a losing strategy, but that's fine.
Well, no, because it's easier for them to mold someone how they want to do things.
Oh,
if they don't, lame. If they have no frame of reference and don't know how to do it.
Sounds lame.
Because when we did it because we know how to do it, because we've done it a bunch of times. Because we used to go to events and stuff.
Right.
And so we never, but it was fucking horrible. because we had to run in full gear with all our ammo and with our guns, and our airsoft guns. The weapon I had was basically the actual weight of the actual weapon instead of being pure plastic like a normal person. So,
Oh man.
so I was carrying all that extra weight for no reason. It was horrible.
Sounds pretty bad.
That team eventually broke up
Shocked,
because people were
scandalized.
sleeping with other people's wives. So
Again, shocked and or scandalized, but also not really.
but it's hilarious because I think I was talking to Danny Kwan about it one time. We were talking about airsoft, and Danny said, "Oh yeah, I used to go." And he goes, "I was always surprised at how much gear people wear because they want to pretend like they're in the real military.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they wear all this gear and stuff. We never did because it was just too much. And he'd always comment about how amazed he was that they'd wear all that stuff. He goes, they wear more stuff than I ever wore when I was in Afghanistan or Iraq.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So yeah, that was it. I mean, it was still fun. I don't have any of my guns. My brother still has his stuff. The only thing I kept that I still have is my 1911 replica airsoft pistol.
Oh, okay.
Everything else I got rid of. So I think my nephew still wants to go. I think my nephew wants to go, so I may have to come out of retirement to go with my brother and my nephew.
Yeah. Everyone's talked about wanting to do paintball, but I haven't done paintball in forever.
Yeah, I haven't done that either. My brother used to do that too because he used to work for a paintball company.
Right.
And
I mean, I love paintball, but I don't know.
I liked airsoft better.
Really?
It didn't hurt as much. It didn't hurt as much.
Man. Out of here.
But it was fun. So yeah. So John, yeah. So you have the U.S. Open this year.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Dallas, which did they have it in Dallas the first year or was it in Houston?
They had one in Texas. I don't remember if it was Dallas or not.
Okay. Well, they're in Dallas again, and then again they're in Tacoma.
Yep.
And then they were in Tampa Bay last year too, right?
No. I don't think there was a Florida one last year. There was a Florida one first year they did it.
It was Kansas City because they did the team event.
Yeah.
But they did Tampa Bay like 2 years ago, I think.
No, it was Orlando.
The first year?
The very first season they did Orlando.
I
judged that one that year, and I judged New Orleans that first season. And then last year I did Tacoma, and then if I do one this year, it'll be Tacoma.
Tacoma's in when is it? That's in
July.
July, yes, in July. Same as last year. So
I think that's the
yeah,
same
so
weekend.
if I get to one to judge this year, it'll be that one.
I think it's the same weekend as LSO. Or it might be the weekend after.
I think it's the weekend after.
I'm looking at it right now. Nope. Same weekend.
Really?
Oh, lovely.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me double check. Where is it? Oh, no, wait. Where am I? Tacoma. Yeah. Same weekend. 19. Yeah.
Huh.
LSO is the 20th and 21st.
Okay, then. That's surprising.
I mean, it's
almost inevitable at this point when you're planning events like this.
Yeah,
you're going to butt up against others.
I think they're far enough apart.
Oh, in distance? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about it. The Dallas one is like 2 weeks before BAO. And Florida is like 2 weeks before SoCal.
Okay.
And then Atlanta again the week before Thanksgiving. So.
Makes sense.
Thanksgiving's later in the month this year.
Yes, it is.
Or seems like it anyway. But I think they're adding more events. I don't know. They're doing the Golden Demon in Adepticon. which
Right.
I'm not going to this year because Rocky Mountain is literally the week before, and I couldn't convince my wife to let me be gone for basically 2 weeks.
Ah. Nice.
I tried.
Nice.
It's only like an hour flight from Denver to Chicago, so
Oh, really?
yeah.
That's cool.
If I were to go like directly from Denver to Chicago, it's like an hour flight.
I guess that's not so bad.
It's like a 2.5 hour flight from here to Denver.
Okay.
And then I guess in Germany they're going to be at, or I guess they're doing Golden Demon at Spiel Essen, which for those that don't know, it's a big board gaming convention. I think it's the largest in the world. So I think it's bigger than Gen Con.
Yeah, you gotta speak English. We don't speak
And
German on this podcast.
you do, don't you?
I don't speak German. I wish.
More importantly,
My dad understands it if you yell it at him.
Amazing.
I think that works for most languages. Growing up, if you lived in a bilingual house, you learn very quickly what certain words mean when they're yelled at
Yes,
you.
when they're being yelled at you, yes.
Oh my god. But the Spiel is the like the Oscars of the board game world. So, and they only
Right.
give like one award. It's not like an award with different categories. It's just one award for
Yeah.
every game.
It's
every
not
board game
awards
that's
upon
out there.
awards upon awards.
No. So any any game that gets that award usually sells exponentially more after it gets that award because they use that as part of their marketing. So it's usually a big deal, at least in the board game world. So yeah, that's GW's events. They are giving out the golden tickets again. We did get one for our event for Hammer Wrath. So we'll have more details on it. But yeah, John. So you're going to Tacoma. You're going to try to go to Tacoma.
If I can
July.
pull one off, that's the one it'll be.
Okay.
I enjoyed it last year. Tacoma was fun. It was nice. The venue's cool. The city is very cool. The airport's kind of far from the venue, but I feel like that's
Oh,
just
it
the
is.
way it is up there. I feel like Tacoma, Seattle area, that it's just spread out, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
It was fine. Fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Speaking of everything's fine. How are you? Speaking of events, we do have the Cherokee Open coming up next week. I will be there. I think Jacob from the Hobby Goblins will be there for the paint judging. Not 100% sure, but I'll be there. Kick will be there. Seth will be there. It'll be lots of fun. A few things to remember going to Cherokee. There is a change in the player place terrain. We are still using player place terrain because we are looking at changing how the terrain is done, but that takes time. And between LVO and Cherokee, it's not enough time to do it. So it's a slightly modified player pace for those of you that are going. Just a reminder: in for this event, it will be a circle, basically a 4-inch, 8-inch basically diameter circle of no ruins in the middle. So we'll see how that goes. We'll probably get feedback for that. The other thing is that we are not using the Dark Angels Codex.
Not?
Because it is only out. So it's kind of the same thinking when the 9th edition Imperial Guard Codex came out.
Okay. I mean, I
Where
don't care. I don't have an opinion.
It's limit.
I'm not going.
You always have opinions.
I don't have an opinion. I care enough to voice.
There we go. So it's that same vein where it's only limited. It's not even in the GW app. which is kind of annoying. So it's not official. The official release is out yet. We don't even know when the general release is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not allowed. Most events are not allowing it because of that. So
Yeah,
they
if you
have
can't,
it.
if there's no rules for it because it's not in the app, like what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Let me see what else. Is there anything else? There is the combat juice, as Kicker likes to call it, for the event, which includes local moonshine.
Nice.
But I don't think it's local moonshine. I think it's local commercial moonshine.
Semi-local moonshine.
It might be local, but I don't think it's the kind that will make you go.
It's not made in the bathtub of the venue.
Yeah,
Got it.
that'd be hilarious.
Got it.
They should have a bathtub tap. So, and I think it's the proceeds go to one of the local causes there. And I think that's a feature Kicker wants to put out for all the events. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, we have the achievement dice, which I'll try to be handing out. Hopefully,
You handed them out of LVO. You did a good job.
It was fine. It was a bit difficult. The hardest one to hand out was the Indomitable one, the one where you basically go 0-6, but still played all your games.
Oh yeah.
That one was difficult because everyone would leave.
Yeah.
It's not something I can give them in the middle of the game.
No.
I'm like, here guys, this goes to one of you losers.
Well, you could probably walk up and be like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna get this one."
Maybe, but
sorry, bro, but hey, this dice you get. Sorry about your current game state, but this will make you feel better.
I guess. I mean, we'll see. I'll with a smaller event, I'll try to get that to go better. To at least get to those people.
Yeah.
Earlier at a better chance to hand that one out. But most people seem to like that stuff, so
cool.
I don't mind handing them out. It's easier. To be honest, it's easier to do than the faction pins we did last year. Because the faction pins I can only give out at the very end of the tournament, and it made it difficult to find people to give the pins to. So a lot of these dice I can give out during the event, so it's a lot easier in that regard.
Cool.
So still giving those out. They're gonna have dinner again there on Saturday, I think it is. So I think they did it both nights. And one night it was like barbecue, and the second night it was tacos. If you happen to listen to the episode last year, I won't repeat my opinion about the tacos, but I hope they're better this year. They're better. But I'm biased, and I'm from California, so
yeah, these are tacos that are not from California or Mexico. So they are marginally considered to be a taco.
Yeah, it's just
It looks like a taco, but it doesn't quite taste like one.
It's being nice about it, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll be better. It was fine. It was just different. It just wasn't what I was used to. So I was spoiled California guy. So we're just doing that again. It's still 9 rounds like it has been in previous years. And AOS is actually doing 9 rounds because last year they only did 6, and they wanted a actual winner as opposed to having multiple undefeateds. So they're also doing 9 rounds this year. So I'm looking forward to it. I always tell people Cherokee is probably my favorite event outside of LVO.
Yep.
Because the venue's really nice. It's only as old as the Cherokee tournament because we were one of the first events at their new venue.
That's right. I always forget it's like a super new venue.
Yeah. So it's really nice, really clean, really, a lot of fun to be there. The only problem with the venue, is that, and some places are like that, where they have the food court literally on the opposite side of the venue.
Right.
So you're in the, you're playing your game, and then when you got to go eat, you have to walk to literally the other side of the casino
Mm-hmm.
and the resort. And if you've seen a floor plan of the Cherokee Resort, it's a rectangle, a very long rectangle.
Yeah. You can just tell from the aerial photos you guys use in the promotional material.
Yeah, it's like 2 blocks, 3 blocks long. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's bad. It's pretty bad. But that's only when you're like crunched for time. So
Yeah. Just don't be crunched for time.
oh yeah,
Easy peasy.
easy peasy. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be sending out an email to all the people who have the current participants, because the lists are due on Monday, with a link to the current event FAQ.
Okay.
Because we did change. I know you're here in time for this, John. Because we did change how you interact with walls.
Yeah. Did you just go back to you playing the rules as they're written, since they work?
No, we went. I
Nah.
went with the one paragraph. So WTC updated how to do charges against walls. Basically, it's a bit. It's
Convoluted?
It's literally just one paragraph. It's one paragraph followed by like 2 pages of exposition, and then another like 9 pages of examples. I just copied the one paragraph.
Fair.
And then I just said, if you still need help, get a judge.
Yeah.
Basically, what they put is, because in all honesty, in my opinion, the exposition and the examples are really just for the judge.
But
Because
it's fixing a problem that's not a problem. You don't have to be able to charge through a wall.
I know
You can go around.
it doesn't come up very often, to be honest. It comes up often at like LVO, because there's literally 1,000 players.
But it comes up often
smaller
enough
base?
but it doesn't matter. You're changing the game. It's changing the way the game plays entirely.
Yeah.
So don't do it, because it's not something that's broken. It's not something that is an actual problem. It's something that's a problem because certain players don't like it. Well, then don't play the game. Like, if you don't like the game's rules, don't play the game. You don't get to make up your own house rules just because you don't like something. It's when it's broken you make an FAQ. It's when it doesn't work. It's when there's like an actual question that needs to be answered. It's not a question that needs to be answered. It's the rules, the way they are. And what you're doing is complicating the game further with something that doesn't actually make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's fine. I mean, do whatever you want. WCC can do what it wants.
I mean, John brings up, I think, the most salient point, which is the point of an FAQ is to fix problems where the rules don't work, right? Or something is just absolutely mathematically proven to be like stupid, right? Like, and just distorts the.
Yeah, like 7th edition invisibility. That needed to be fixed. 7th edition invisibility was dumb. Like, there's things in the past we had to fix. They got rid of templates because that was dumb. They got rid of it, never brought it back. Thank God. But like, this is not one of those things.
An FAQ that is providing essentially a comp, what do we call it? A comp packet, right? You're comping the game now. You're changing the rules based on what you feel is a better system, which I don't know if people have the appetite for that anymore. And I don't know if that's really workable, seeing as GW is around now and maybe not as engaged as sometimes we'd like, but do engage us and do make changes and do work with things. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think John brings up the right point of like, this isn't broken. You just don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the fact that my giant Valiants can't Overwatch. Do I get to just whine enough until somebody makes an FAQ that says that I can?
Yes.
Well, I do. That's the way it works. Perfect. Good thing I know the FLG head judge, and I can get that ruled that way right before I go to play the team tournament in September. Excellent. So I'm not playing Necrons at the team tournament. I'm playing Knights, so that I can get all of these special FAQs made for Knights in my favor. Excellent. Good enough.
But I also don't like you, so
It's fine. I'll put in the request under James Workshop. James Workshop question.
So basically what WTC did was they increased the engagement range to 2 inches, which is what GW did, except GW did it for every phase of the game, not just the charge phase. Remember when they did that, when they increased the you can't come within 1 inch to 2 inches unless you're charging?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that when they did that for like 6 months?
Yep, I remember that.
Oh yeah, that was dumb. I do remember that. I remember being like, "This is dumb." But you know what I did? You know what I did? I played it that way. You know why? Because they were the rules, and they weren't broken. They were just different, and I didn't like them, but I played them because they're the fucking rules, and they work.
Yeah, so that's one of the big.
I think I broke Adam.
I'm reading messages that you guys keep sending. That's ringing in my ear.
I'm not sending any messages.
No,
Danny's
it's
saying that.
Danny and Tom.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's
playing
one of the
monkey
big
class.
things. Yeah, they're writing notes to each other under the table. I'm assuming it's notes.
Yeah.
So that's one of the adjustments. There's a couple of other things in the FAQ that if you look, for those of you that do look, make sure to look at the date, because we do put a date now when those changes were made. So anything dated basically yesterday, and today is the latest one where I answered a couple questions. If you don't see your question, that usually means it was already answered. You just need to scroll up or scroll down, or look under the army that the question is related to, and you should be able to find it there.
Cool.
I didn't get too many questions. There's a lot of questions about stacking abilities, especially the orders from guard.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
So now you can move twice, and that was one of the big things we talked about, John, when you weren't here.
Yeah.
Was the rule GW made, or the ruling where they allowed you to stack abilities as long as it's not an aura.
Right.
Which to me was insane when I first read it, because normally that was auras of the same name, because
Right.
normally that wasn't the case. So now, at least from what I can tell, you can have guard units that get move twice.
Interesting.
So now they move fast. So now they can move faster than the old version of move, and that was fast. If you remember.
Wow. Okay. I had no idea that's how that was working. So, I mean, I knew that they had made changes, but I had not looked in depth enough into it to be like, oh, okay, that is really good.
Yeah. So especially with the ability to issue orders when you get out of the vehicle.
Yeah, that seems pretty strong
from deep strike.
Seems pretty strong.
I think that's why, as much as guard players refuse to admit it, why I think guard is a bit stronger now than it was previously.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know if guard is good, but it's not terrible.
They did win a couple events this last weekend, especially since the new.
What size event? So
the new the new codex came out. I'd have to look. Don't make me look.
It's fine. Don't worry.
I'd have to
I
look
haven't looked
the-
at anything
the,
from over this last 2 weeks in terms of like event results. So I will take your word for it.
But you don't have to take my word for it.
Hold on, I can.
Well, I wouldn't, so it's fine.
Look, man, I just want to quote my heroes once in a while. Just fuck. Just let me have
I
this.
didn't stop you.
I know. But don't make me feel bad about it either.
This is a Catholic 40K podcast. I must make you feel guilty.
No, that's an
So,
Irish Catholic podcast.
That's all Catholics.
Yeah.
It's just as an Irish
It's
one,
all-
you're more susceptible.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I forgot. Well, maybe I didn't forget about it yesterday. I was too busy celebrating Valentine's Day to remember it was Ash Wednesday yesterday.
Well, you
I
can't,
did both.
You can't spell
Quiet.
Valentine's Day without Lent.
Oh God.
Oh,
I'm sure I'm glad the priest didn't make that joke when I was getting my ashes.
can you give a bad puns for Lent, Tom, please?
I mean, considering I never do them, really, sure. But yeah,
One was
God,
enough.
if I had heard a priest in a sermon or a homily say that, I just would have stood up and been like, "Well, it was nice knowing y'all."
All right, I'm gonna go to that church down the street.
Yeah.
See y'all later.
And God is a lie. Thanks for clearing that up.
I heard there was a
Wow.
nice mosque moving into town. I'm gonna go give that a try.
John, so Guard went 6-0 at a 160 player event.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So they are good. That's good.
I'm trying to see
They are
what
good.
else.
Just guard players are whiny because they're whiny. Got it.
5-0, but that's a 28 player event.
Right.
4-0-1, but that's 27.
Well, they won a big one. There was over 100 players at that one you just said. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I mean,
That's
I think
legit.
There's a 100-person one this weekend over in, I think it's on the East Coast, the Battle for Alzheimer's. So we'll see how they do there. We have Cherokee coming up. We'll see how they do there.
I'm sorry, the battle for what?
Yeah,
It's
I
Battle to
I
End
was,
Alzheimer's.
Oh, battle to end Alzheimer's. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
I almost wanted to say I forgot, but I thought that would be in bad taste.
I thought you just said the battle for Alzheimer's, and I just kind of auto-tuned back in and was like, "What the?"
Battle to end Alzheimer's. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Much better. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see how those go. I think a lot of the other top players like Chaos Space Marine and Eldari are kind of dropping off. So, because I'm actually on the Meta Monday website, the guy that does that,
Yeah.
and like top at that 159 player, that 160 player event, it was Guard, Dark Angels, but I don't know if they used. I don't know if they allowed new Dark Angels.
New
I think
Dark
they
Angels.
did.
Okay.
I think they allowed new Dark Angels.
And there's nothing wrong with it if you want to do it and you're just upfront about it. Cool, whatever.
Custodes, Black Templars, and then it was Eldari, Dark Angels again, World Eaters, and then the other one was World Eaters, Tyranids, Space Marines. It said Index Tyranids. Didn't they get a Codex? That's weird.
Yeah.
I guess they allowed Index Tyranids at their event for some. Well, it's Florida, so okay. I'm gonna ignore that. And then then this other one, it was Guard, Custodes, Sisters, Guard, Custodes, Thousand Suns,
Okay.
Space Wolves, Necrons.
Space Wolves.
So it looks like a good mix, but you're not seeing. Remember, at one point we was all like Eldari. So
Thank God they finally nerfed Eldari.
I think it's a better mix, but we'll see what. But it's only been a couple weeks, so as the weeks go on, we'll see how it shakes out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you just need some more events to see, but it looks like things are better with Eldari not dominating everything anymore.
Yeah, so looking forward to Cherokee. If you are there, make sure you say hi. I think it's almost at 200 people right now. I haven't checked lately. So, but Tom, are you working on anything right now?
Just Tomb Kings.
On
Tomb Kings, but that's not for you.
No. But he gets to use them as much as he wants.
That's fair.
John,
Yes.
you working on anything other than your master's degree
Nope. Not currently.
and your son's baseball career?
Yeah. No, that's about it for the next like 9-ish weeks, I think. And then after that, I will be working on Necrons because I will have time after that.
I am actually working on rebasing some Aztecs and building some Empire units out of non-GW models.
Cool. Sounds fun.
But I think we have to cut this one early. Danny has left us.
Yeah. His technical difficulties finally got the better of him.
In case anyone hasn't noticed. And any last anything else? Anything we can forget?
Any last requests, everybody?
Any last requests? Nothing? No. Let me see if there's anything. Next show will be after Cherokee, so we'll talk about Cherokee and what happened, if anything, there. I think that is it for tonight, anyway. I know there's a pre-order for Epic, but I'll have to hold off on it. Unfortunately. Tom, any last words for tonight?
Nope.
No. Nice. Nice.
Oh my God, that was good. John, any pearls of wisdom other than play by the rules?
Yeah, if you don't like a rule, you don't get to just change it.
Well, good thing we're not a Garage Hammer podcast then. Or Reddit. Good thing we're not Reddit.
God, if we ever turned into a Garage Hammer podcast, I swear, if somebody who's listening right now, you have the permission to put me down.
Don't make me want to change formats, John. I also saw your post on Reddit, John, in regards to set rules.
I just commented. I didn't post. Yeah.
Well, I saw your comments regarding a couple of the one post, and I don't know why you did that.
I don't know. I don't know. I was bored.
Try to help people, John.
I was trying to be helpful. Some people did appreciate it. It was nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening tonight. As always, it's a pleasure. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to this on the podcast, don't forget to subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back in a couple weeks with after action report for Cherokee Open. So until then, good night